Well, hello, that's me again. Today is June 11, 2024. It is Tuesday, I believe. And let's start with this thingy, and then we'll talk about why we talk about geometrically challenged American and Western elites. And they are geometrically challenged, that's why they lie all the time. But let's start with this. There's a lot of articles about this now that, oh my god, so Russian ships are, well, actually Admiral Gorshkov, the frigate of the first rank, has been about 100 kilometers from Havana, if I am not mistaken. Anyhow, what they talk about that the two American destroyers and two ships with the tow sonar equipment behind them are shadowing the submarine. The U.S. official told Martin another destroyer and U.S. Coast Guard cutters are shadowing the three Russian ships, which are surface ships. Well, there is how to put it politely, I don't know. It's a regular procedure. So two Russian ships, one of them surface ship, which is of course the frigate Admiral Gorshkov, a carrier of the Zircon hypersonic missiles and other very funny, missiles of that nature. And of course, submarine Kazan, they've been most of the time on the surface. Even the submarine was basically transitioning on the surface, but now they have the P-8 Poseidon flying all over the place there near Miami, and well, yeah, they probably are looking for the Kazan, which probably, dived and then will surface again. So it's normal thing, and they just worried, which is natural when you consider the fact what kind of the strike package those two carry. They can unleash 48 cruise missiles, and among those cruise missiles, half can go and strike anything within the eastern seaboard, not only of the United States but Canada, but others like Zircon, yeah, they can sink just anything there, including aircraft carriers. So, and yeah, the United States Navy reacts as any other Navy would, so they sent out the ships to shadow. And obviously there is another very interesting specific purely naval anti-submarine warfare element to all that, because they need those which are the most likely destroyers of the Arleigh Burke class. They have this towed sonar array, a low frequency. They can unroll this, also, the how to put it politely, intestine, if you wish, or very long, wire, which is not really wire, it's a thick kind of cable, and they will try to listen to get the signature, the acoustic signature of the and other physical fields, such as, all kinds of the electromagnetic and things of this nature, emissions from Kazan submarine, because it is the most advanced submarine in the world, and its strike power is just absolutely immense. And they would like to get this portrait, so to speak, signature, so which is absolutely normal. It's Russians also do it, and that's pretty much standard procedure. And there is no danger to the United States. There is no danger to the United States Navy, because Russia and United States are not in the state of war officially. But Russians definitely went there not only to visit Cuba, but to demonstrate flag and to demonstrate the which they did actually today. There was a joint, exercise between Gorshkov and Kazan, which they trained the strikes on the ranges above 600 kilometers. So, and they just can show that, yeah, they can interrupt and interdict, in case, God forbids, war, any kind of this shipping links of communications. And don't forget, Russia already has 4 of those Gorshkov class frigates. The 5 or 4, I believe, are being built. Then the expanded version, the Project 223550M, goes out, and it really becomes a destroyer, not really a frigate after that. And there are obviously 10 Yasin class, or Granny class as they called, submarines of Project 8 185, or they call the Severodvinsk class, in plans, and they are being built. So when you look at this, you understand why they worry, because plus, as you can always have to remember, there are a bunch of other nuclear and diesel electric subs Russia can deploy on the shipping lanes of communications, and she can cut any kind of resupply and sustainment effort for any type of the force if United States decides to commit their suicide by cop. But that brings us also to the special military operation, and how to put it politely, not good, not good. So, and look at this. These are for the 10th of June and yesterday, and as you can see yourself, there are, I mean, they grow every day. Now you have 1,800 personnel killed and wounded losses for the last 24 hours on the Ukrainian side. There is also 4 tanks and APCs. Some of them are documented. You can see the videos of them being burned. Then you have armored vehicles, 26 of them, artillery and mortar, 62, and on and on and on. There was another Su-25, which has been destroyed on the ground. And when you look at this, and when you begin to compare where we're at right now, here, let me show you something. Remember those Liptsi? A few days ago, I don't remember, maybe a week or so ago, Russians were kind of like, 3-4 kilometers away from Liptsi. And well, guess what? As you can see yourself, Russians are now within, well, they're pretty much almost on the outskirts of Liptsi, and the movement continues. People say there is some movement on the Sumy region, and there is advances in other places. Yet another number of the villages have been taken, and how to put it politely, I don't know. I mean, there is an absolute slaughter of what is happening with the armed forces of Ukraine. They now try to attack. Usually those attacks, as they say, they love to use all those stupid terms like counteroffensive. Well, there are counterattacks. They try to counterattacks in Volchansk. Today there was another, 2 platoons went in with whatever armor they could master, and guess what? They attacked Russians. Russians killed 20 of them, destroyed a bunch of the equipment. The rest simply ran, from the battlefield. So this is the kind of dynamics of what is going on there. And yes, there is a panic. There is a panic such in desperation in NATO and in the United States that, we have this. And that basically explains everything you need to know, and why all those people, for example, in RT, from all those Russian uber-liberal pro-Western tanks who still kind of, try to ride this topic, if you wish, or the issue of the European elections in a number of countries, like France and then European Parliament. It doesn't matter who comes to power in Europe, so it's over. And I understand the public may have some, questions about the support of the West for the Ukraine, let's say in Europe. But we have to understand what many people, for example, who write for RT don't get it. And you would expect them. They write from the same, shyster think tanks like Valdai and things of this nature, that they, maybe the new powers will come and things will change between Russia and Europe. No, they will not. And that's the point. They don't understand that actually the European public doesn't care about Ukraine or what have you. They vote because of the economic situation, which is, of course, dominates the minds of those people. Apart from the fact that, let's face it, let's put it straightforward, Islamization of Europe. And actually disintegration of these old social institutes. I mean, that's the only reason. They never liked Russia, and they will continue not to like Russia. So let's kind of stop this, garbage that, somebody new, like, Marine Le Pen who comes to power in France, and so what can she do? It's over for France, and she's the same globalist, stooge, just with a little bit, they call it right-wing, it's not right-wing, it's more nationalistic, rhetoric. That's it. Nobody likes Russia among them. The only thing they care about are their political careers and the promotion of their political parties, and consequently, I guess, some financial and other benefits. So that's what I wanted to tell those people, that they still think that something can go back. No, nothing is coming back. Nothing. Including the military capabilities of the United States and NATO, which have been portrayed, and not portrayed actually, they have been exposed as the paper tiger. And that all this talk about this war or the corridors they build and all this thing, guys, it's all baloney. In order for you to fight Russia, you need to have, like, I don't know, millions of people recruited, trained, and supplied with the immense amount of the hardware, which is beyond the capabilities of the combined West, United States included. So, and because of that, well, guess what? So it's kind of, how to put it politely, let me demonstrate to you. Here is one of the psycho bitches which lives now in France. France loves to take all kinds of the human trash from Russia. But actress Troyanova, as you see from RIA News today, she went on the rant again, and she supports the, speaking to the Novaya Gazeta Europe, which is, of course, Khodorkovsky, that is the Rothschild outlet. She says, of course, that, of course, today we deserve to be shouted in our faces. Russian must be killed, even children. Or, as Ukrainians say, a good Russian is a dead Russian. That's what she does. I mean, she gives interview to this, basically globalist outlet. And if that hasn't been enough, then we have, obviously, United States finally, dropping the mask and dropping all pretense, and United States lifts weapons ban on Ukrainian military unit. Why don't we say what Ukrainian military unit is from the start? It is, of course, Azov Brigade, and one-time militia, now part of Ukraine National Guard, which is, of course, Nazi battalion. They even have the, all paraphernalia of Nazis, and well, guess what? The Biden administration will allow a Ukrainian military unit with the checkered past, really, to use it as weaponry. The State Department said Monday having lifted a ban imposed years ago amid concerns in Washington about the group's origin. There are no concerns there. There never was. I mean, United States, or at least Biden administration, will support anybody. And again, as I already stated, most of those people in Washington will love nothing more than more killed Russian children, Russian women, and, damage to Russia, because they live on the basis of their Russophobia, some of it which based on not only culturally, but also on being them insecure, because they're tremendously insecure. Believe me, I know. I have some understanding how they think, but obviously because, I mean, it's also racial. So for them, me, for example, I'm Untermensch because I'm Slav and I'm Russian, so this is how they think, and they will support Nazis, they support anybody, precisely because by now they have been exposed for what they are. Militarily, they are impotent. American U.S. Army, I mean, really, show me the money, show me the freaking, winning record, show me the brilliantly produced operations, conducted operations. And again, don't give me this crap about the Gulf War 1.0. It's not even serious. So, and here is the situation which, of course, because of that, it shows you constant, how to put it politely, situation of addressing or sublimating those insecurities. As Guthrie, did a very good job, for example, Guthrie Roberts, he is a specialist in China. He compiled, for example, U.S. and Anglo-Saxon primarily, list of the predictions, that means failures of the guys who were predicting about China collapse. You see, from 1990, the economy, China economy has come to a halt. China economy faces a hard landing. 2001, a hard landing in China. Banking crisis imperils China. So in 2011, Chinese hard landing. To 2013, zero hedge, hard landing. 2017, national interest, China economy going to crash, and things of this nature. This tells you about the level of the American understanding of the outside world. And I'm not talking about regular Americans, part of which whom I am myself now. I'm talking about those elites and those academy and all those people, most of whom have no clue what they're dealing with, including US military. And the same goes for Russia, as I already stated. And the question is not just that Russia is, something like on the, fourth economy in the world. We knew it all along. I mean, she was like this since 2021. But reality is, when you look at the economic growth of Russia, it's just magnificent, So, and when you ask me, United States doesn't look that favorably now against Russian situation. Not to say that Russians don't have economic problems or any other problems. They surely do. There are social problems. There are some issues of Russia needs to address poverty for the most underprivileged layers of the society and things of this nature. Or, for example, the gigantic gap between Russian wealth. Some of it legitimate, most of it is not. So there are some other things, but generally economic growth. Putin has the through the roof, into stratosphere support ratings. Russian army is doing great. NATO is collapsing and crumbling pretty much, as Dmitry Orlov stated today. And we have this situation. We have situation with their how to say it? They need to constantly, medicate themselves. And here it is. Here's, for example, this is the news. The NATO is using AI to track Russian aircraft. Top official. The US-led bloc is utilizing artificial intelligence to analyze satellite imagery of Russian airfields. Its assistant secretary general says. Well, let me translate it into the normal human language. They use a software to analyze satellite imagery. So AI, same as Tesla or iPhone, is the kind of catchphrase, and the same as like tech companies which do nothing tech. And they, have to constantly go out and show that they do something. They, develop those corridors, logistic corridors. They are ready to use the AI while continuing to supply, as you already saw yourself, for example, Nazis, outright Nazis with weapons. Yeah, what's new? Nothing new. But when you look at all that, suddenly I need to remind you something. They live in the world of the fantasy because it's inevitable, how to put it politely, outcome of their, being exposed as paper tiger military. United States Army cannot fight Russians. They will be defeated with the catastrophic circumstances. We're not talking about chihuahuas from France, like, we will transfer 5,000, 5 Mirages, 2005 version. Yeah, sure. Yeah, 15 millions already have been proposed to first person who's gonna shut it down. So, yeah, it's really fun to observe how they are running like headless chickens, and the whole thing is imploding around them. But you think that Annalena Baerbock was only geometrically challenged? Remember Tunguska meteorite in 1908? Yeah, you can look it up. The largest, meteorite explosion in recorded history, which was observed around the world. Well, as it turned out to be, it was done by the US Army. Yes. And so, if you don't believe me, let's go and take a look. So, here we have the situation that they talk about. It's Newsweek, that Colonel Rosanna Clemente says that a senior US Army officer has confirmed that Ukraine used one of the American-made Patriot surface-to-air missiles to down a Russian Beriev A-50 airborne early warning and control system AVAX aircraft in January 2024. Colonel Rosanna Clemente, the Assistant Chief of Staff of the 10th Army Air and Missile Defense Command, said in comments at the Fire Symposium event last month that Ukraine's West-provided Patriot anti-missile systems are serving Kyiv in various roles. Let's take a look who this confabulator and, fantasy writer is. Let's take a look at her. Where is she? I have here Clemente. or Clement, if you wish. Here she is. Colonel Rosanna Ro Clement. Colonel Rosanna Ro Clement is a first-generation Filipino-American born and raised in New Jersey. She graduated from the United States Military Academy in 2002 with a bachelor's degree in U.S. history. Wow! So pretty cool. So, and holds a Master of Military Science degree in National Security and Strategic Studies and Master's degree in Strategic Studies. Well, as I already on the record, you cannot take seriously anything strategic studies in the United States because it's primarily fantasies. They do not operate with data, and I doubt the academic proficiency of those people who teach there. Maybe some basic models on the, be that, salvo models or the, attrition models. It's all fine and dandy. The problem, of course, what can possibly they do when the United States loses its all wars? And they do not know the history or do not want to know the history of people who actually win their wars. So you immediately can have this insecurity. So she currently serves as the Assistant Chief of Staff for Operations G3 at the 10th Army Air and Missile Defense Command. Let me remind you something. Let's kind of, go back a little bit to the last year, almost a year ago. Remember this Modern War Institute at West Point? So we have this Captain Mitchell who writes about this tremendous successes of Ukrainian air defenses. The main for interception of a Russian Kinzhal hypersonic missile by one of Ukraine Patriot air defense systems in Kyiv was caused a significant stir in the international missile defense community. So let me put it what this international missile defense community. It's primarily those bunch of people, some of them with the West Point education, others from ROTC, who believe this BS of the Ukrainian Kyiv regime, which even Forbes and, proverbial David X had to admit, and you remember I spoke about it, that most of claims Ukraine provided to US cannot be verified. Well, I mean, come on, guys, if you believe Ghost of, of Kiev, so why don't they introduce the course of Ghost of Kiev into US Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado? I'm pretty sure that will train very many good pilots, flying F-14 against Su-57. So, I'm pretty sure that Top Gun Maverick is, a required movie to see there, probably in the course of the, aerial combat tactics or something like that. So, you know what? I mean, we have the situation. But here is this colonel, Clemente, who basically invents things. She knows that she lies. And that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the integrity to the nowadays of all those people who run United States. And here we have, remember this is, for example, the ranges of the Patriot. As you can see yourself, Patriot, the longest range, Pac 2 and 3 with their those latest missiles they have is with a MIM 104F. It's 160 kilometers maximum range, as you can see yourself, and even that it can actually reach when it attacks targets from the elevations of about 8 kilometers and higher. So, okay, and this is why I'm talking about them being geometrically challenged. Let's take a look at what do we have. Here is the map yesterday, 10th of June, of the, Russian controlled territory. As you can see yourself, there you can see on the down right, lower right corner, there's some, contours of the Azov Sea. So let's take a look. Here's the map. If to believe that lady, this colonel, who says that it was shut down, allegedly A-50, which it was not, take a look at this. And in blue, as you can see yourself, this is the what it called the baseline of the roughly the shores of the Azov Sea. The alleged 850 flew from around Krasnodar. Okay. Well, as you can see yourself, the total distance from the upper left line, which goes through Enerhodar and Kherson area through Bakhmut, which is of course under Russian control, it is all in Russian control territory. The black distance gives you 130 kilometers range at best. The 160, well, how to put it politely, if you want to achieve those 160, you have to pull some of those Patriots, let's say near Kherson, into the open field. That means the death sentence to this, Patriot and its basically crew. Other than that, there's nothing, nowhere near where they can, position it to even reach the baseline or the shoreline of the Azov Sea. Well, this is a simple thing. You should kind of understand what is going on, right? But no, these people invented and they lie. So, considering the fact that it's geometrically, physically impossible to shoot down anything over the Azov Sea, because neither Ukraine nor provided by them US systems have the range to even reach the shores, forget about allegedly above or over Azov Sea. And even then, they should have this AVAX plane while flying on the elevations about 8 kilometers and higher. That means 24,000 feet and higher. So I think so, considering the state of the United States Air Defense Forces, which is pathetic, and seeing the background of this lady with her history and having served in actually Okinawa, manning some air defense complex, that means having zero combat experience and zero experience with serious air defense systems and actually the combat against the enemy, which can actually wipe out this air defense the moment it turns on the radar. You can pretty much tell, it can pretty much tell them that, yeah, she just lies. I mean, and she won't be able to communicate with anybody who is in the know and have the good real military background, not degree in history, to even oppose them. Well, guess what? Let's go take a look at the guy who does have actually, very much degree in, not in history, but in combined arms warfare, armored warfare, and the academy general staff behind him. Here's Mr. Kartapolov, General Kartapolov, one of the heads of the Russia's outstanding operation in Syria. And, he commanded, armies and army groups in his life. And so he talks to RTVI yesterday, and let me translate what he says. Americans lie. Then there was some kind of military aircraft shot down on Azov Sea with the use of Patriot. He says they like godless people. Don't read, don't listen what they talk about, the Americans. They never tell the truth. Our aircraft never was shot down, let alone Americans. They don't have the shoot downers to grow them. That's what he said. Now, if you don't understand who he is, he's currently the chief of the defense committee in the State Duma. And the guy obviously way more educated and has the experience as a military officer and academically and operational and strategic command, which Miss Clemente has no clue about. She's not even in the same league. But they lie. They constantly lie. Now, let's imagine, could have some Russian plane go down? Oh, absolutely. And when you have the intensity and operational tempo of what Russian Air Force, or VKS also has, let me put it this way, it's insane. And do planes break down? Yes. Look at this. Just yesterday, as you can see yourself, one at the Su-34 crashed in the Ossetia. The crew sadly died. I don't know what was the deal with their ejection seats, but the Su-34 multifunctional frontline bomber that crashed in North Ossetia has repeatedly participated in strikes on militant positions in Syria and was involved in the special military operation. It suffered an accident, and the bomber was performing a planned training flight, flying for Mozdok. Well, Mozdok is in that area. That's technical malfunction. Let me show you where Mozdok is. Mozdok is 859 kilometers away from anything that United States can provide theoretically to Ukraine. Well, guess what? the same as the, Tunguska meteorite. I think so. This Colonel Clemente should also claim that this airplane has been shot down by the U.S. Patriot complex. Why not? I mean, they may also take responsibility for the anomalously warm winter 2 years ago in Russia. So why not? So, and as you can see yourself, the total distance is 859 kilometers. So, and that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about this desperation and how they continue to lie non-stop, because they need to cover up the exposition, the exhibit A of the BS and mythology being presented as the real combat military power. And then when you look attentively again at the economy and economical outputs, the only thing United States has on Russia right now economically, it is obviously, although it's aging, I still would say people don't underestimate. United States still has some of the infrastructure which is great. For example, while definitely being constantly repaired and things like that, American highway system is outstanding. So, and yeah, there are, hiccups here and there. There are many things which are infrastructurally still good in the United States. But if you look attentively now at the, incomes and standard of living, Russia is catching up pretty fast. And it's a little bit different slant of the standard of living, and Russia still has some problems. But economically, well, what can I say? Russia is actually building the highway system. Have you heard about it? So it's a really sad situation for the United States. And now when we have this military, which is, well, it's not a joke, obviously. It's the largest military in the combined West, and it can certainly, roll over some third world crap hole, or conduct, after a year or two of preparations, something like the Iraq 2.0 again, enemy, something like Iraq. Other than that, and that is why they lie. They lie constantly, and that is why they don't know geometry. They do not understand that could be easily called out by anybody who have, high school level understanding. And so that's what I wanted to tell you today, guys, about this geometrically challenged people and about the situation around the world. So, and as always, in the end, I really want you guys to subscribe to my channel, those who want to really subscribe to my channel, and those who can afford, please support me on Patreon or buy me a coffee and two. And that will be it for today, guys. Have a nice rest of your week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.